Hello everyone, I'm Brent Penrose and you're watching Penrose Films. Today we're taking a look at debug stage 186 in the game Super Monkey Ball 2. There is an action replay code for this game that allows the game's debugging material to be accessed. In short, these are the tools that were put into the game by its developers to assist the development of the game, but were left behind in the final copies of said game. The significance of debug stage 186 is that it appears to be slightly broken. If you were to make an attempt to access this level on an actual GameCube, YouTube channel Scrap651 demonstrates that it doesn't quite work so well.
Ready?
But today, we're not using actual hardware. Instead, we are going to be using Dolphin, an open-source, multi-platform GameCube and Wii emulator. So with that out of the way, let's get started. At first, you're thrown in front of a rotating platform, which appears to be a sideways seesaw platform. I say that because you can interact and rotate the platform, but it will always try to realign itself with a slightly larger gray frame. There are a couple of trees placed on top of boxes. There is a large A button, seen in other debug maps as a placeholder switch until the final design was created. Pressing the switch appears to trigger a controlled animation test, as the boxes will start rotating and eventually stop, with the palm trees appearing to give some sense of placement as the boxes rotate. There are several seesaw platforms placed in the center of the first half of the map. There are numbers placed above them, and they appear to test different levels of sensitivity for the platforms. You can see how one seesaw isn't very affected when I move across it on the side, but another one will throw me off before I can make it across. There are several object tests floating just above the stage. One set are of I's head, but the rest appear to be generic shapes. Some have different colors to them, and most appear to be slightly transparent. Placed just behind the objects is a font test placed on a large wall. The Japanese character stands for the letter A in English. The wall seems to be a graph of some sort with an R and an S axis. There is another font test placed just off to the left of this one. Panning the camera to the top right of the first font test reveals that something else was left here. Cows. Yeah, a row of cows can be seen posing in front of different copies of the same skyscraper. While they seem to be testing different appearances, I looked into the history of Amusement Vision, the subsidiary of Sega responsible for developing Super Monkey Ball 2, and I can't seem to find any game in their history relative of cows. In other words, I have no idea why there are cows up here, there just is. This brings us to the second half of the map. In order to get here from where you spawn, you must cross one of the 3 seesaw platforms. As I enter the other half of the map, you can immediately see some proximity detection tests. This is evident by a second and third palm tree appearing out of nowhere. Also, over top of the black floored half of this part of the map, you can see blue half spheres changing into green and almost full spheres, finally into red spheres as I get close to them. Behind these spheres is a small wall that appears to test the red, green, blue, and alpha channels. Not much else I can say here. One other thing that's worthy of note is the floor. If you look at the minimap, you can see the number 256 repeatedly, but as I zoom the camera out, you'll observe how it changes to 64. This is a result of a technique known as MIP or MIP mapping. This is the combination of high and low quality texture maps that are blended together depending on how far away the camera is from the object, ultimately producing a more realistic look. There are a couple of smaller things in this map, but they're small things that don't have much to say about them. And with that, this has been Super Monkey Ball Debug Stage 186. If you want more Super Monkey Ball content, then I recommend checking out Scrap651's channel. They were the person that recorded the failed attempt to debut this level, as well as many others. But they also have some ridiculously amazing stunts for you to check out. Seriously, this person went through Expert, Extra, Master, and Master stages in one take without losing a single life. It's insane. Thank you for watching Penrose Films, and we'll see you on the next reel.